It's Championship Sunday, and that could mean only one thing. It's time to find the Axe of Champions some new owners. Welcome to the final day of the FNCS Major 2 Grand Finals. Welcome to Championship Sunday. If you missed yesterday, you definitely missed out. We had it all, guys. Savage and Truly winning a VR, Sky and Scroll coming back, Shark and Teeny gearing up to having a very dramatic resurgence on day 2, I think. Takata, what was your favorite moment?
Probably the moment that we're going to see that you just mentioned today when Shark and Teeny end up going from 5th to 1st.
Yeah, definitely going to happen, right, Mini Miner?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm going to say my favorite moment, though, is Mr. Savage win game number 1. Like, what a start to the weekend. Hopefully today is going to be just as exciting as well.
Yes, so let's take a look at the leaderboard and remind ourselves of what went on yesterday. We're going to talk about the top 5 jurors in the standings, starting with Sky and Scroll, because they are proving the doubters wrong right now, Takata. If anything, their ability to put on a united front has looked more consistent than ever before.
Yeah, this is the Sky and Scroll we're used to seeing. Absolute elite consistency. There was some haters, some doubters saying, oh, they switched up their drop spot from Boulevard. Their mid game isn't going to work as well. I don't know what's going to happen, but Sky and Scroll were actually leading the lobby with the most AR damage throughout the whole day. You can see almost 5,000 damage, and second place, Mini, is 3,000 damage. That's almost a 2,000 damage difference. What's also interesting is out of their 26 eliminations they got yesterday, 20 of them were during the end game.
Yeah, these guys really came alive here in the major finals. As you mentioned, they weren't looking that great actually coming up to the major finals. It wasn't quite clicking for them, but everything is coming together right at the very perfect moment. And I mean, these guys yesterday just performed so well. They had a few different adaptations to their strategy as well. It wasn't so concrete like we saw last season as well. And could this be the first time since 2021 that a team has won 2 FNCS major titles on EU in the same year? And these guys could have gone back to back if Summit had gone a little bit differently as well. This could have been the dominance that we haven't really seen on EU for so long. And I want to mention as well that these guys are actually practicing off-spawn fights all night last night. So maybe they're potentially preparing for an off-spawn contest from someone today.
Well, hopefully they got some sleep, because they're going to need all their energy to win this one. Let's bring up the leaderboard again, because I don't think going into yesterday's games that we expected Cringe and Twy to be quite this strong. We knew that they could play, but they had a difficult off-spawn situation, and yet they're making it look so simple, and they're looking especially lethal in their endgames, Takata.
Hey, I love it. They're playing out of their minds. They made it top 5 4 out of the 6 games yesterday. And not only does Twy have the most eliminations out of anyone in the lobby from day 1, but they're also leading in shotgun damage, have the least storm damage out of anyone in the top 8, despite having kind of a difficult off-spawn situation to navigate, like you mentioned, Frankie. But Mini, they had a bit of a weird last match yesterday in Storm, right?
Yeah, that last game was really tough for them. They lost a lot of that damage early on. Of course, with that net surge, you need to try and recoup some of that damage as well. They were sort of trying to go into loads of different areas to try and reclaim some of that. However, remember that 6th zone was just all the way, or the 6th game zone was all the way down towards the southwest, and it was really difficult for them to catch up. They ended up going down to the Storm in that game today, yesterday as well. So that's the big question for me now going into today, as you can see sort of what happened to their last game on the screen. That's the big question for me now, though. It's like, how are they going to respond? They haven't been in this situation before. Yesterday, I spoke about Twy not quite turning up when it comes to the grand finals to his ability. Now, how can they dust themselves off? How can they come back today after what ended yesterday in not great fashion?
But I think they're just going to try and remember the momentum that drove them in the first few games. Doing it for the UK, those boys. Let's bring back up the leaderboard, because in 3rd place are Harry and Cammy. And it's an FNCS Grand Finals. We're always going to be talking about Cammy, but thanks to some incredible endgame moments from Harry, this team is a real contender for the Axe of Champions if they can pull off some big games today, Mini Miner.
Yeah, I think so. And I think surprisingly, they surprised a lot of people, which is kind of odd because you talk about Cammy particularly as a sort of player that's a very experienced player in the region. And he always seems to come up with some interesting sort of off-spawn strategies and some strategies in general. And something that I noticed yesterday was even just little things like using these 7 sliders to speed up his loot path at the beginning of the game. This, of course, is not brand new. This is not new tech that nobody else has done before. But he's always trying to think ahead and use all of those different items to his advantage, which I was really impressed with yesterday. And then, of course, Hari as well. What a performance from Hari individually. He just absolutely popped off so many eliminations. And I think Takata, in general,